second speaker, resource speaker. Our resource speaker is the Chief Executive Officer of the Independent Perception and Research Hub, Bangladesh, a country director of EMRDIEO. He is proficient in his field of teaching profession, and he will be discussing the topic Road to Understand Teaching, a Noble Profession. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome our second speaker, Professor MD Shahriar Parvez. Professor.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Loud and clear?
Yes.
So everyone clearly listen to my voice. My voice is okay to everyone?
Yes, Professor.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you. I am being honored to become a guest or resource person as a speaker in this kind of international conference. And also this kind of conference is also a valuable conference for the teacher, the faculties. So far, I believe that. And today, my topic is Road to Understand Teaching, a Noble Profession. So I requested the participant to mute your microphone, please, because when I speak, then it will become, if the noise is here, then I feel that it will be a problem to listening to other people. Okay, so here we are here to understand about the teaching profession as a novel profession. And so far, we believe that teaching is a novel profession for us. And today is the day that you are here to participate in the 10th International Conference on School Leadership and Teaching Profession 2021. And already one of the great speaker, Professor Elizabeth, already spoke, and she said about the leadership and various sort of thing. Now here in the moment, in my lecture, the topic is here to Road to Understand Teaching, a Novel Profession. So if we understand that why it is a novel profession, then our great scholar, Dr. APJ Abul Kalam said, teaching is a noble profession which shape the character and ability and the future of an individual. So teaching is the ability of teacher to impart their knowledge, skill, and their experience to their discipline. On the other hand, the career in teaching requires people who have conviction to nurture young minds and the mode of them something great. Since time memorial, profession of teaching has considered as one of the noblest profession. And it is so the educator also changes the society by giving their lecture, their norms, their value to the student by nurturing themselves. And if we understand that why this is a noble profession, then teaching is no doubt a noble profession, because in this profession, you give your volunteerism, or it means that you are considered yourself as a heroism, especially when you are choose to teach the less privileged students. Because the point is here that as a teacher, you are not always teach to the privileged student, also the less privileged student, which means that when you teach, everyone is a uniform body for you. No class, no bound is there. So Now we want to speak something about the teaching duties, responsibilities, and minimum requirements of a teacher. So the point is here that at first, the duties and responsibilities of a teacher, you must understand that what kind of responsibilities and duties you should have in your teaching profession. At first, we just say the knowledge of the subject, because if you teach a subject which you have no knowledge, then it will become very less important for you to understand the subject, and also you are able to give your lecture on that subject. So knowledge of understand of the subject is the most important part of a teacher. And now in this knowledge, what can you do? To have an expert knowledge of your subject area, to pursue the relevant opportunity to grow the professionalism, and also keep up to date about the current knowledge and research in the subject area. And it is also important, knowledge also might be recent and might be the researchable knowledge you have to inside yourself. Then to plan, another point is come, that is the teaching. How can you plan your teaching? To plan and prepare appropriate assigned course and the lecture for the student, to conduct the assigned classes at the scheduled time, to demonstrate complete classroom instruction, to implement the designated curriculum. We also said about, we will show this kind of information in later about the curriculum, to plan and implement effective classroom management, to design and implement an effective strategy to develop self-responsibilities, and also to promote your student intrinsic motivational power. So it means that each and every student has some motivational power themselves. So you are the teacher, you are the moderator. So it is your task to motivate themselves by motivating their intrinsic power. Now come to the point that in the teaching, you also encourage your student in active, in hands-on, creative problem-based learning, because problem-based learning solving now is very important for the student. If you are a teacher, only teach, and teach, that will not become a valuable content for your student, because if you give them some problem-based learning, like to understand something by creating something by their analysis, by problem solving, then that will become a more important, and this will be helpful them in future in their career. To provide the opportunity for the student to access the current technology, resource, and information, and also to provide the opportunity for the student to apply the practical knowledge what they are learned. So to engage the student in creative thinking and also learning experience, because learning experience is one of the vital part of a student life. To build up a student ability to work collaboratively with others, and also to motivate themselves by self-motivation, and also to motivate themselves as an instructor, as a coach, as a learner, and also as an audience. Because as a teacher, you should have a power to learn from your student, because always if I say I know everything, then it is not the true thing so far I understand, because students sometimes give us the lesson. So we are also a teacher, we are also a learner in our whole life. To maintain a safe and ordinary environment conducive in learning, and also to comply with requirements, safety, and supervision of your student. And then how can you call assignment? So assignment is a thing to give your student that how can they understand what you listen, what you lecture, what's their response. So by giving them the assignment, this will become helpful for them. And in the assignment, you have to communicate learning expectation from the student and to apply the appropriate multiple assignment tools and strategies to evaluate the promote the continuous intellectual development in the student. And also to assign the responsible assignment, which also be reasonable, and also give some homework for the student to do something from their home, and to evaluate the student performance and objective to understand the timely manner and also record the report. And you must take some pop quizzes, some assignment quiz, and some what is called midterm and final semester examination. And then you have to understand the professionalism of a teacher, because as a teacher, you have some professionalism inside you to be punctual, available in the class during the class time and the office hour, and you prepare and maintain your course file, and also take some notes every day before you take your class, and also you participate responsibly in your university or your school improvement initiative, and also demonstrate the timeliness and attendance for assigned responsibilities to work collaboratively with other professionals and staff. And also you have to provide the access, evaluate feedback from the professional manner, and create and maintain a positive, safe learning environment. Now, the point is here, another point must be inside you, that is good behavior, to model honesty, fairness, and ethical conduct, to model a caring attitude towards your student, to promote positive interpersonal relationship, to model the correct use of language, oral and written, and also to be a model to promote the empathy, then also gender, in ethnic, the religion, the culture, and also learning diversity of the student. To demonstrate skill when you're managing student behavior and resolving disciplinary problem. So it is a duty for a teacher to become a model or become a role model for the student, and by their role model, the student will be benefited, and a student create their life from you, from your social skillness, from your leadership, and from your civic responsibility. Now the point is here that as a teacher, you must have to understand the specific deadline for your course specification, for your classroom activity report, for your course file, for your attendance, and also for the quizzes, assignment, and so on. Now the point is here that as a teacher, you must evaluate your student fairly, because if you are not fairly judged, then this will be problem for your student, because some of the students are, they have the intrinsic, some of the students are extrinsic. So it means that some of them are not want to share their feelings with you. So they are just quiet in the classroom. So you just give and nurture them and give your experience, share your knowledge with them and motivate them. So then the student will be benefited from you. Now, another point is here, the teamwork. I want to show a video in this presentation slide, but it is not possible now. So in a teamwork, yes, it is an important part for you to become a person, a teacher work with teamwork. Because if you are not work in a teamwork, then it is possible that you may are not accurately delivered your lecture up to date, and so far your organization or your institution, your university, they wants to get from you the appropriate work. They will not get this kind of work from you. So it is important to work as a teamwork and always become a leader for the teamwork. And when you have become a leader for the teamwork, then I think that this will be more responsible, give you more responsible, and give you more learning behavior inside you. Now the point is here that teacher requirements, and in the teacher requirement, what we can understand. The school level teacher requirement minimum, you have the bachelor degree in teaching or in your relevant field. So some of the institution wants the master degree, and you have minimum 2 years experience as a teacher or as a co-teacher or assistant lecturer or assistant teacher, and you have in-depth knowledge of teaching method and legal educational procedure. Outstanding written and verbal communication is very much important for you, and well organized with excellent leadership ability is must be important for a teacher, because teaching is a noble profession. So you must have that excellent leadership ability to capture this profession. And exceptional interpersonal and presentation skill, because if you are not presented or if you are not interpersonal, then how can you feel the students' minds? How can you read the student feelings, the behavior, or their emotion? And now come to the point of teaching method, which is very much important because as a teacher, you must know about the teaching method or methodology, because it's a psychological thing so far we understand, because if we research the previous history, then we observe that the Skinner, the Grunder, the Pagan, and the Boomers, they actually, psychologists, the great teachers, they analyze the teaching method and give us some important method for teaching behavior. So at first, the teaching method started from the behaviorism. And in this theory, the learner is essentially clear state of shape the emotion of the people by understand their stimuli, their reaction in a positive and negative reinforcement. So here is the problem is here that sometimes we don't understand what our student wants. We just go to our class and give the lecture. We just write something in the board, and we have nothing to do for the student. And if even some of us never ask the student, do you understand this thing? Do you understand that thing? And some of the students not respond, and some of the students responded. So at that moment, the teacher say, no, please sit down, please. We have a lot of education or a lot of study in today's class. But so far, you must understand the reaction and positive and negative impact of your student minds. Then you have to understand the social cognitive theory. In the social cognitive theory, you must understand that how the student is grow up from their childhood to their 12 or 16 years old time. So in this social cognitive theory, you have to understand some stages. There are 4 stages. Actually, the first stage is called the sensomotor stage, and this stage actually begin from the birth of a baby to the 18 months of time. So the second stage also is a the point is here that the second stage is started from the age of 2 to 7, and the third stage is started from the 7 to 11, and the final stage is started from the 16 to end of the life. So these are the stages actually mentioned in the social cognitive theory. And this is one important stage of sensomotor. In this stage, when the child birth, you can understand that what kind of behavior they will grow, they will achieve when they are grown up. Some of are very feeling shy. Some baby are creative, some baby copying the another one. So in this stage, you can understand this kind of thing as a teacher. And basically, most of the important stage, that is the student is 7 to 11 when they go to their school, and in this stage they are actually this is called operational stage, and logically and develop their empathy during concern their operational stage.
Hello, sir. Hello,
Hello.
Professor. I think the share screen is now ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I guess. Yes.
Sorry.
No, it is this is my one. So I think
what slide number? What slide number, Professor?
Okay, can you share the slides? Okay, fine. So now actually I am on the slide number. Please go down. Slide number. Yes. The teaching method. Yes, the teaching method. Then yes, I am on slide number 25.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, 25. Yes. So next slide, please. I think I already said this slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so in this slide, yes, we also cover up this. Next slide, please. Yes. So this is the slide, the operational stage. So far, we understand that it is a very important part for the teacher to understand the students' minds. Okay, next slide, please. Next. Okay. So this is the pictorial thing that in the sensomotor stage, the operational stage, the formal operational stage. Now you can understand that how can the mental behavior of a child, we said the student, they are actually the child, they are our child. So you said that in the sensomotor, the child beginning to interact with the environment, then in the they learning something with the conversation with us, then in the operational stage they are beginning the symbol that how can they represent themselves in the society, and in the formal stage. So far we understand that, and in this second pictorial thing you can easily understand this thing. Okay, next slide, please. I think we already covered a bit. Yes. So this is another slide that person or a people, how can they develop themselves in a natural way, in a musical way, in a body kinesthetic, then a linguistic, an interpersonal, then logical, mathematical. So these are the quality of a student, and as a teacher you must understand that in my student this kind of qualities they have. Some of the students like music, some of the students like physical work, some of the students like mathematics, some are avoid the mathematics. So as a teacher, you must understand their psychology, their sensomotor or their behavior. And as a teacher, it's a noble profession and you are a leader. So it is most important for you to understand this kind of thing. Next slide, please.
Ano mas Yusuf?
Okay, this is another point that constructivism is another way to understand the theories of educational theories, because in this way the most important part is here the activity learning. And in the activity learning is one of the vital part now in this world, because when many of the employer ask me that, sir, please give us some student. So when I provided a student to them, I asked them that what are the requirements you want from the student. So at that time, they are asked that student must be active in some work. So I said, you need the CGPA. So they said, no, we don't want any kind of CGPA is not a matter. If the student is not workable with my organization and don't understand the point of my organization work, then I don't want that kind of high CGPA student. So this is one important part for the teacher, because if we always say that you become a good student by your CGPA, no, I think it is not right, because if your students are able to understand to solve a problem in a society, in a road, then they is most eligible student for the society, for the organization. And if the student get the high CGPA and he has no knowledge in a practical way, then I think in the future no organization will bring him or her for their employee. Okay, next slide, please. Yes, so here we see that in this video, a student is active, learning many important lessons on their own and intrinsically motivated to learn. So by this picture, we understand that he has interest to become a doctor. So this is a teacher part to understand that how can you understand the student that what he want to become, a doctor, a teacher, or an engineer. So this as a teacher, it is your duty to understand your student that how can your student get and obtain the knowledge from your class. Next slide, please.
Problema mag-back pa si GD. Kami na butang seminaryo aki o.
Okay, so it is one of the important slides. The participants are here. You can understand that the universal design for learning. And in the universal design for learning, I think now it's the time for every teacher to prepare their lecture by universal design for learning method. I think in the next slide, we have a pictorial thing. Yes, so in the universal teaching method, you must understand the engagement, the representation, and the action and expression of your student. And as a teacher, you have the access to build up, then intelligent, then goal. So these are the point you must understand from your student, because teaching is a noble profession and you are a leader, you are a teacher, you are a motivator, and you are a capable person to teach your student. So in the engagement, you just observe that there is recurrenting the interest, then sustaining effort, then self-regulation, and in the representation, in the excess, you see the perception and also the physical action. So by providing this kind of pictorial figure to understand you that how can you understand your student minds. If you say that active network, the why of learning, then the recognition network, the what of learning, and the strategic network, how of learning. So why, what, and how. As a teacher, if you ask yourself that why I give this lecture, what is the purpose, and how can I deliver this lecture, then I think this will be benefited for you to prepare your lecture plan. Next slide, please. Okay, now another point is here. These are the points so far we discussed about the psychological behavior. Now the point is here, the teaching method actually now divided in traditional versus modern. And in the traditional teaching method, you can understand that so far we go to the class, we write down something, and the student does read. So far they understand or not, they just read, and and in the examination paper, they write what they read, what they memorize. But in the traditional way, is study and memorize. You see here, the point is here, study and memorize. So now the world is changed, and as a teacher, you have to change your pattern also. Now the point is here, if you are only think that study and memorize is a teaching pattern, then I'm extremely sorry. The world is now totally changed, because now we want analyzing, we want evaluation. Next slide, please. Yeah. So you see in the modern teaching, the progressive modern teaching, educational are now more active. The more progressive education is here. So progressive means activity-based learning, and activity-based learning is very much important. I repeated this word, activity-based learning, because so far I've worked with many international organizations, many universities, and there I understand that they want the activity-based learning. So far, in the World Bank, they started a project of HECAPE, and under this project, there is a IQAC, is the institutional quality assurance cell. So in this project, I worked as a chairman of that project, and I understand that they want the activity-based learning now is very much important for the student, not the traditional learning. And using the questioning, the explaining, the demonstrating, and also collaboration techniques. Next slide, please. I have no option to show this kind of video now. I hope next time. Please, next slide, please. So now is the point is here that tools for your digital classroom. Now we are actually in a digital wave actually run inside us, because now I talk with you, you see us the this kind of virtual conference. So it's the kind of digital way, like a technology. Technology give us everything. So far, the technology also waste our time. But if we deliver it, or if we run this technology in a selective way, then I think a student will be benefited from this kind of technology like digital classroom. So in the digital classroom, they have many kind of option like Classcraft, Adobe, Google Classroom is very much important for you, and also the YouTube. YouTube also have a learning classroom for the teachers so far, I understand, because many of the professional give their lecture in the YouTube. So I hope that your institution or your university or school develop this kind of classroom in your for the student. Please, next slide, please. So these are the details of the classroom. I think I will not gone through this thing. Please skip it. I provided all the information in this slide. So if this slide is provided to the participation, they will get that everything. So please, next slide, please. Yes. So now is very much important point to come to us. That is pedagogy and andragogy, which where many get in wrong their learning strategy. Like in these two picture, the baby also learn and the adult person also learn. Now the point is here, their learning method is changed. So as a teacher, if we are not understanding that what kind of learning strategy we applied in our student, then we will become a great loser in our future, because our student is our leader in the future. So next slide, please. You see, that is a difference between the andragogy and the pedagogy. It is very much important to learn for the teacher. Like pedagogy, the learner depend on the teacher, and the andragogy, the learner is depending on self. So now, if you are a school teacher, or if you are a university teacher, if you apply the pedagogical theory on your student, then the learner depend on you. So you have to understand, you have to learn yourself, and you have to shape up yourself each and every day, because in a pedagogical way, the learner is depend on you. On the other hand, it is depends that in the childhood learning strategy depends on pedagogy, and the upper learning strategy actually depends on andragogy. So next slide, please. Here we can see that the student advice once they have completed the necessary step, and child learn are told what they are need to master a topic in order to move into the next one. So the child here is always come to the point of child. And now the andragogical thing, you say the instructor, the learner don't advise to another topic. They want to learn something or grab something. So next slide, please. Next, please. Okay, these are the modern pedagogical learning strategy. The 10 important pedagogical learning strategy is here. So I think as a teacher, you should read this thing properly, because here you see the crossover learning, the analytical of emotion, the adaptation teaching, then also the computational learning and text-based learning. Many things is mixed in the modern pedagogy. So next slide, please. I think that I already provided all this material in this slide. So I hope that you will be able to read this thing by yourself, and you must be understand after you read, because you are a teacher, you have that capacity and capability. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes. Next slide. Next, please. Okay, one point is here. Please go to the previous slide. One point is here, that is adaptive teaching is one of the important part. And in the next slide, please. Next slide, yes. Analytics of emotion. It is very important part, because in this manner, you can understand the cognitive aspects of the learner. So you understand what's your learner know, what's your learner have inside them. So I think as a teacher, you must understand the analytics of the emotion of your students. Next, please. Okay, now come to the point. So far, I already told that curriculum. So now it's a very much confusing thing, that what is syllabus and what is curriculum. As a faculty, it is one of the important part for you. May I ask the moderator that how many times left?
Yeah, you still have less than 5 minutes. So.
Oh, okay. So the syllabus and curriculum. So it is very much important for the teacher to understand, because in the syllabus, it is a document only consists the topic and the portion that you are studying in your class, and in a syllabus considered as a guideline. Next slide, please. And in a curriculum, it is a total guideline for the academic content, that what are the topics, what are the topics you studied, how can the student get their grade in these topics, what are the chapter you covered, what's the teaching method you applied, and what kind of lesson or assignment you can provide. So in the curriculum, you have total guideline for the course, for the studies. So I hope that in your country, you are maintain the curriculum in the institution. Next slide, please. So these are the difference between curriculum and syllabus. I think you will read it in when you get this slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide, please. So I have a video, so no video is here. Next slide, please. And the point is here, what we learned, that the seed planner is equal to the teacher. So as a seed planner, you are the teacher. When you plant a seed, then it's become a tree and give us the shelter also, and protect us from the different kinds of hazard. So as a teacher, you must build up your student slightly and slowly in an active way, so that your student will become a teacher, a manager, a senior officer, an educator, and must protect this society, this world, this environment. So far, I think that I already covered most of the thing, and this is Happy Friday for all. Let's the weekend begin in your country, and it is the end. I have some videos, but it is not possible to show this kind of video here now. So I hope that next time I will show it. So thank you very much. I give my floor to the moderator, please.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor and Shahriar Parvez, for that very informative and inspiring message. Moving on, let's present the certificate of recognition to our second speaker. Okay, let me share the screen to you.
Miss Wendelin Dindin, kindly turn off your microphone, please.
right? And we would like to request the chairman and founder of the LED Philippines Global to do the honor in presenting the certificate of recognition to our resource speaker.
Yeah, first I'd like to, of course, this is our second speaker. I'd like to present a certificate of recognition to our resource speaker, Professor Dr. MD Shahriar Parvez. During the 10th International Conference on School Leadership and Teaching Profession with the theme From Education 4.0 to 5.0 School Leaders and Teachers Dynamic Engagement in the New Normal. Signed, Dr. Ken Paul M. Espinosa, Lead President, Mario C. Lucero, Founder and Chairman. Let's give a big round of applause to Professor Dr. MD.
Thank you very much, Professor MD Shahriar Parvez.